So you're thinking about making a move, and all of a sudden it strikes you. There are more costs involved than just the house. Whether you're selling it or buying it, doesn't matter. There's more to it than that, right? So let's talk about that for a minute. Who pays for what, and what do these things cost? Okay, so let's start with sellers. And this is what a seller typically pays for. I say typically because in Northeast Florida, this is our list. It would be different in South Florida. It's probably different in the Panhandle. And it's certainly different once you cross state lines. And it's kind of like home rules. I remember as a kid playing basketball in the front yard. We'd have a friend come over. We're playing one-on-one. I step on the sidewalk. They call me out of bounds. And I'm like, no, home rules, sidewalks inbounds. This is like home rules type of stuff. So here's what a seller pays for in our market usually, and it's deed stamps, an owner's title insurance policy. You've got a title search, a settlement fee, a survey, and then your share of real estate taxes depending on when in the year you are closing. And even though this is what is typically paid by a seller, closing costs, as are all things in real estate, they are negotiable. So maybe in a hot seller's market, you have a buyer coming in willing to pay for things that are normally a seller cost, and vice versa. If the market shifts and more inventory comes online, maybe you have a buyer asking you to pay for some of their costs. That's historically somewhat normal as well. So that's the seller side of things. And I'll leave in the post exactly what these costs are. But for a quick run through, deed stamps are 0.007 times the purchase price. And then an owner's title insurance policy is $575 for the first $100,000 in value, and then $500 for each portion of $100,000 in value after that. And then a title search is usually $75 to $150. Settlement fees typically around $500. Survey, depending on the lot, maybe it's $300 to $600 in a normal setting. If you have some monstrous estate, then it's acres and acres and it's out not really within city limits. That could be thousands and thousands of dollars. And then your real estate taxes. That just depends on how much your real estate taxes are for the year. Okay, let's get to the buyer side of things. So you're thinking about the move, you're ready to buy, and you're going, what all closing costs do I have? And this is kind of like me buying a car, and I'm thinking, okay, I get it, the price of the car, now what else is involved? So here are the normal buyer closing costs. I say normal, customary would be a better word, as discussed previously. And the one catch to this would be if you're paying cash, really none of these costs exist, with the exception of inspection fees and maybe some recording fees. So if you're paying cash for a house, your closing costs are next to nothing. But if you're getting financing, these are the costs you're likely going to see on your settlement statement. So let's talk about them. Intangible tax, that's 0.002 times the loan amount. And then note stamps are 0.0035 times the loan amount. Mortgage title insurance is much less than owner's title insurance. I'm actually not sure what the calculation is, but on a $200,000 loan, you're looking at like $400 in mortgage title insurance, just FYI. And you've got title insurance endorsements, which that depends on, is it in an HOA, is it a condo? Are there any other parties that will need some sort of title sideline policy? And these are cheap. These are $100 to a couple $100 depending on what type of endorsement you need. And then you have inspections, and you can do all sorts of inspections. Maybe you pay $500 for a general inspection, but then you may do a WDO inspection for $125. You might do a pool inspection for another couple $100, etc., etc. And then you have mortgage origination charges. So this is what your lender is charging you to facilitate getting the loan. And I won't even venture into what that costs because that's all over the place, depending on who you're using for a lender. And a lot of times you'll see it sometimes lumped into the loan amount, sometimes not. You may be paying points thinking that's a mortgage origination charge when really that's a fee you pay up front to lower your interest rate. So I won't get into what that costs because it varies. And then the appraisal, and last but not least, the mortgage insurance. So appraisal, gosh, those have gotten expensive these days. It's another long discussion, but probably $600-700, maybe a little bit more. Could be a little bit less, but likely not. So that's the appraisal side of things. And then mortgage insurance, if you're putting less than 20% down, you will have mortgage insurance in some way, shape, or form. And that'd be a question when you're there to ask, how much should I put more down? If I can't, what should I put down to give myself the option of getting rid of this mortgage insurance at some point? But that's what mortgage insurance is. So, hope this was helpful. If you're thinking about a move or know someone who's thinking about a move and they want to chat through the specifics on who pays what, maybe strategies on negotiating around paying some of your typical costs, whether you're selling or buying, I'd love to help with that. Give me a shout, 904-405-1995, or you can email me, jeff@era.com, and we will catch up soon. Take care.